Oh god. On the move. So, I think I may have met a new best friend. It was pretty incredible. Gus and I we were in Burbank shopping for Gus's grandma, Liz's mom's birthday. And when you're a dude, mother-in-law gifts are very important. Let's just say that. And there's a little shop in Burbank that I like to go to called Tansy. And it's very gift-friendly kind of joint. It's like lots of pots and pottery and, candles and little plant. It's a plant store. It's got a little coffee thing. You can buy a coffee while you're there. Nothing's that super cheap, but it's, it's all tastefully curated goods. And you walk in and you're like, oh, I'm going to immediately find something for this person. And they kind of gift wrap everything. It's like one-stop shop. Anyway, I decided to park, I don't know, like a half a block away on Magnolia. And I pull up and I look over and Gus looks over and Gus goes, look at that. And there was this tiny, tiny micro storefront. Beautiful little spot. You could just so easily drive right past it and not even notice it. And it was called Random Acts of Breadness. And he started reading all the signage. And he was like, Random Acts of Breadness. Look, Dad. And I'm like trying to park. And I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, they have gifts. And I was like, really? And samples. Oh. And they make sourdough. Huh. We got to go in there. And I was like, yeah, we do. We got to go in there. Let's go. All right, let's go in there. And this couple came out. They were probably, 72 years old. Just, total boomer looking couple. And they were happy as clams, whatever they bought in there. They were smiling, and they got in their car that was right in front of us, and it was a smart car. And you see these like retired people in smart cars. You know what I mean? Such a retired old couple car to buy. And I'm like, we should just buy the easiest to park car in the world because we're not going to move. We're not going anywhere. We like to go to the Hollywood Bowl, and it's really nice to be able to park. And we don't want to pay for parking, and you can park this thing anywhere, right in front of a driveway. It's just amazing. It's better than taking the train, honey. But, if you ever driven a smart car, it's like the least practical car in the world. I was at a rental joint. I'm just taking this little jog off this highway for a minute here. And the guy was like, hey, we got a smart car if you want to rent that. And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, actually, that'd be kind of cool. But I was in LA to like for an interview, and I had my portfolio with me, which was in a big zip-up, portfolio bag. I could not get the fucking portfolio bag in that car. It was too small. I was like, I want to rent this car, but I can't fit my portfolio inside this car. This isn't going to work for me. Like the hatchback, like there wasn't even room behind the seats. It was just going to crunch I was thinking about just letting it bend. At one point I was like, I really want to rent this fucking car, but I can't do it. It's like, you can't even bring like 2 bags of groceries home. Jesus Christ. I mean, I know it's cute and all, but give me a break. Put a little fucking trunk on there. Even Ford with his Model T understood that you need a boot, for God's sakes. So they looked so happy, and we decided to go in there, and there was this guy His name was Randall. And he had long, super long braided hair down past his butt, kind of, total hippie. But he was this old dude, probably in his 70s, glasses, those magnified glasses that make your eyes look big, like big saucers. He looked like an owl, like an old wise owl. And he just started talking to us about bread. And he gave us the whole history of the bread shop and how he, 4 years ago, decided, he was making bread for his friends. And then everybody loved it. And he started talking about the health benefits of sourdough bread. Like Europeans, they don't have any trouble digesting gluten because the bread they make is gluten neutral. He started talking about gluten and the way we digest sugars and how you gotta combine it with a little bit of fat. You're really supposed to put butter on bread because then glycemic index is a lot lower and blah, blah, blah. He got really technical and he was like, and all the bread we make here, we use this water. And he had these 2 tanks that were kind of in the window. I was like, what the fuck are these? And they were the water filtration tanks, and all the water that they use at that shop, they filter all the heavy metals and toxins, and they even filtered out fluoride. And they use an all-natural water filter that it uses charred bones because bones actually attract fluoride. It took out, 99.976% of the, whatever, fucking took all the fluoride out. And that's what they steam. They use that water to steam this bread. So it was just this special story and special bread. And he was so well researched about like what kind of flour, what kind of this and what kind of that. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is health conscious, local bread shop. And he had little samples. And it was like, look, I like to spread a little bit of this raw, organic, grass-fed butter that you can pick up right down here at Sprouts. I said, wow, I've seen that butter there. That's great. Do you want salted or unsalted? And we're sitting there eating samples of his bread, and we're just like, oh my God. And somebody came in while we were in there, and she was like, bought a loaf, but she had it sliced, and then we got to see the slicer slice. And they could tell we were interested in all of it, so they gave us a big tour of their bread shop. We went back into the back, and we saw their ovens, and where they mix the dough, and where they, put it out, lay it out, and where they slice it and bake it, and, and the whole story of the very first loaf, and how the tastes evolved, and how now they're making these, cinnamon, walnut, whatever, all these like delicate, fun, beautiful little flavors. And so we got ourselves a loaf. We got Nana, Gus's grandma, a loaf for a birthday, along with a really interesting jam, bulberry jam, that apparently is good for your eyesight. It's French. Kind of a cross between a blueberry and a grape. So delicious, my God. And, we were there, we were like, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get on the mailing list. And Randall wrote me an email. And he because while we were talking, I told him I was into animation, and he sent me this. And I told him that I worked on Coraline, and he said, oh, I'm friends with Neil Gaiman. Or Gaiman, I think he said. He pronounced it a little different. And Neil Gaiman, crikey. And, of course, I didn't say, anything about the super creep allegations. And I was just like, of course. He said, I gotta send you a speech he gave to the graduating class of blah, blah, blah. He gave the keynote speech at the blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sure. And he sends me an email, and he sends me this Neil Gaiman speech. Really inspiring. Make Good Art, I think it's called. Just encouraging and, challenging all the students to just make good art, for God's sakes. And I was like, I turned to Gus after it was all out. I was like, that was amazing. And we made French toast this morning with the last pieces of this kind of nutty, cinnamony, kind of sweet loaf that we bought. Raisins and other shit in there. And it was so good. Because, it's more gluten neutral if you combine it with fat and protein. And there's nothing quite like combining fat and protein with bread than making French toast, right? Anyway, that was our morning. After about 2 hours of no sleep last night, I just hit the ground running with a little Frenchy Latour. French toast from a beautiful little bread shop in Burbank called Random Acts of Breadness. And I want to encourage people living here in Los Angeles, in the Valley maybe, to go down to Magnolia. Hit that little shop and grab yourself a loaf. Meet the people that make it. Wonderful couple, Randall and his wife, his lovely wife, I couldn't remember her name, and their assistant Bambi, who's just as cute as a bug in an ear. And they're just a sweet, open, they're real people. And they really care about the community. And they were voted best bread in Burbank. I don't know, some newspaper voted them that. And I would have to agree, it is fluffy, delicious, wonderful, homemade sourdough bread. Yeah. What else is cooking? I don't know. Pacing around my house trying to figure out what is worthy of your time. Let's see. I don't know what the time of month was, but my Lord, Liz is really, really into picking zits this week. I'm kidding. That doesn't ever happen. I was just trying to think of like the most obscene thing I could possibly say right there. That never happens. I've never dated a female human that was at all like a frustrated wannabe esthetician. No, it's never happened. No, it's not. It's not in their DNA. There's nothing. It's so weird. It's like people say that all the time. Like, oh yeah, women always want to just like pick your blackheads and groom you and all that. No, that's the old wives' tale. Ladies mind their own business. They do not. I've never had a girlfriend say, "Can you just roll over and just go to work on my back?" No. And guys of course reluctantly are like, "Okay," because guys hate it, right? They hate it. No, actually, guys secretly love it. But it never happened, so I don't know what I'm talking about. That was a great subject. Okay, moving on. Mail. Oh, dude, I've been getting so many bills in the mail lately. It's been amazing. Oh, I got such a pile of dishes in the sink right now. This is incredible. Aren't you glad? Logged on to hear. Let's talk about vibrators. Okay.